The place location has been determined, but the path is blocked by a river. Measure the depth with a wooden branch. The river is only less than 1 meter deep, it completely passable, but it hasn't gone far. The rally feels something was wrong. She stood still and didn't move. What wrong? Do you think there's something in the water? Levy rushed into the water but couldn't find anything. At this moment, the surface of the water was filled with foam and waves. The Riley was swept down by the blanket. Levy pulled out his gun and divided to the bottom, finally sawing the rally. They found the plane in an open space, except for the broken right engine. The outside of the plane was still complete. Levy entered the cockpit with the computer system. It also worked normally, but when starting up, it was discovered that the air compressor was broken, and at this time the plane radar scanned a mysterious signal 4.8 kilometers away. They decided to go to the place where the signal was coming from. But when arriving at the scene before their eyes, they were stunned. There was a primitive tribe, but 10,000 years ago, even native people could not build a room like this. Everyone pushed the door open, carefully, then enter the block inside. It terrifyingly catet, in block. They're not a signal person in sight. Everyone spreads out, find the source of the signal. If and Levy discover a corpse of a modern human in Levy friend house, took a photo from his body where the victim was a member of the photo. It turned out that in addition to the mission to rescue Live, there was also another special mission to search for the member of the expedition. He came here through the jacuzzi hole. Heavy 3 years ago, Levy found the source of the signal next to the body, a remote walkie-talkie over here. Rose and Riley discovered a tunnel. They walked along the turn to the outside of the bunker. Levy went out of the house to prepare, called everyone to leave, then suddenly they couldn't find anyone. They went up to the observation tower and saw Jose and Riley outside the bunker. They also saw the natives returning. The natives discovered Rose and Riley quickly left, arresting people. Rose and Riley quickly turned around and ran away. They did inside the land, not daring to breathe loudly, but the Aborigines were getting closer and closer. At this moment, suddenly a trumpet sounded from afar and heard the sirens commanding all the soldier. The people retreated to the bunker and saw the people returning. The two quickly turned around and ran away. They did in a house where the people were also slowly approaching them. They wanted to find a place to hide, but as soon as they turned around, they discovered a group of people. The children were sitting next to the table to save George's mother, distracting the guard with his phone and then sneaking into the lot together. Luckily, they met Doc. Sam and Lucas chased the soldiers into the house and asked Isaiah if she saw any suspicious people. Isaiah said he couldn't see anyone. After chasing them away, he led them to the invisible door and everyone had already run to it. With Isaiah's help, they ran smoothly back to the base. Suddenly there was a sound, rang on the radio. Levy quickly contacted the other side, Diana of the expedition team. With Diana's help, the plane was quickly repaired. Levy announced this news to everyone. Everyone happily celebrated, but as this time, the space-time road connecting the two worlds is slowly closing in the suburbs of Los Angeles. In 2021, archaeologists have unearthed an ancient letter, but people did not expect that this ladder just disappeared. A few days ago, when Gavin was waiting, the archaeological team discovered a plane. His scanner had many bodies inside the plane. As soon as Gavin looked at it, he realized that this was the plane Levy was piloting, and it turned out that the plane Levy was flying yesterday had fallen into a sinkhole. Lavery had an incident with the plane and then went through the tunnel back to 10,000 years ago. Gavin immediately realized that Levy wanted to fly the plane back through tunnel, but if he did that, everyone on the plane would die. Gavin had to think of a way to stop. On this side, everyone had finished fixing the plane and was drawing number to decide the boarding order. Hey, a drone went through Luke Kwong and fell somewhere nearby. They opened the lid and saw inside was Gavin video. He informed everyone that the plane would crash, but everyone was in a hurry, wanted to go home completely disregarding Gavin's warning, and Mary advised Levy not to take the risk, but Levy stubbornly wanted to take off. Mary pulled out a gun and threatened them, forcing them to return in the car, but Diana rushed home and suddenly collapsed. The gun aimed at Mary unexpectedly hit the engine. Mary immediately fired back and directly shot Diana. On this side, Gavin was flying the plane into the sky. But when he was about to approach the sinkhole, suddenly two fighter planes flew over. Next to Adam, he warns Gavin that if they keep flying to the sinkhole, the army will shoot them down. Rich tells Gavin to fly back to himself, put on a parachute and prepare to jump into the sinkhole. Before leaving, she tells Gavin there's another way to stay. Let go back to the beginning of November 16, 1988, remember that day, then immediately jumped down to return to be with his daughter. Gavin had to sign a confidentiality agreements, but while filming he secretly contacted Nam privately, because the time Marika said was the day Gavin was adopted. He went to find the pastor and found himself. The pastor told him in 1988 she was on the side of the road and discovered Gavin and a girl named Ella. Then the pastor took them. They went to the welfare camp. But Gavin didn't remember anything before 1988. Nason found his daughter whereabouts through his colleagues at the security department. They set out to find Ale under the Isaiah's sinkhole and secretly arrived at the base. When they arrived, when Sam caught him, he saw that Isaiah Hand was injured and brought him back to the base. Here, he and Lily became good friends. Everyone thought he was a police officer, but he didn't think so because in the past, he was a murderer. Isaiah helped them escape. As the leader of the tribe, Ilsa Silas' grandfather thought that these foreign guests were very dangerous. So he maintained a certain distance from them, but Pal did not think so. She not only kept them to eat but also revealing the tribe's secret. It turns out that in the past, the Palan people and the indigenous people had a war, but the survivors finally gathered and become the current tribe. Always felt that Silas had a problem. He let If stay with everyone while I went to check. If learned from Elsa that he and his grandmother were not local residents, but they were not people who came down from the sinkhole at the same time. At this time, Leo found Eddie's dead wallet in Silas' room. He told Parlor about this, but Parlor firmly believed that Silas was innocent. At this time, a whirring suddenly rang out from afar. The watchman ran to tell the news, was taken away by someone and everyone rushed to find him. A woman was carrying Issei and left. Silas's grandmother chased after him and the person leading Issei away was Rick, who jumped from the plane into the sinkhole. Silas slowly walked over and pulled out the knife came out of her back. Then Levi and I heard a pitiful scream. They followed the sound and found Rika, returned to the tribe, and told if Rika only wanted to talk to her over here. Isaiah's wound caught her. His head was bleeding. Grandpa, preparing to help him. Gavin went to Ella's place next to their house to help him. They found a closed sinkhole, but when Gavin bent down, he had hallucinations. Seeing Silas's bandaging Isaiah, the wound on Isaiah's hand was exactly the same as his. At this moment, Gavin realized that Isaiah was his childhood self. Everything he saw before was not an illusion, is that his memories are lost, and at the same time Rick also told Isaiah that her husband Gavin has a tunnel from the year 1988 on the top of the mountain. If he doesn't take Isaiah there, Gavin will not exit. Are they walking in the forest, somewhere far away? An animal was waiting for them when Isaiah saw a saber-toothed tiger. It was a critical moment. George took the car and heard the sound and touched If, and Levi also ran to find Isaiah's hand was bleeding. If took off the bandage and stood up, immediately remembering her husband's scar. She couldn't help but believe that this 10-year-old boy was her husband, Gavin. If Isaiah hadn't gone into the tunnel, their child would have died. If Isaiah had just passed the suspension bridge, Silas would have come to him. I asked If to hand over Isaiah at this time. Levi pulled out the hand and directly cut off the suspension bridge. Silas asked I to lead Isaiah to the designated place to meet, otherwise he would kill Levi and Rose on the sinkhole. Gavin came to find Ella's, but Ella's also not remembering previous events. In order to receive Ella help, Gavin sneaked into the archaeological site to steal a dragonfly fossil. When Ella saw the fossil, she also appeared. The previous memory flashed and she saw herself playing the game that her sister was standing in front of. It turned out that she and Gavin were both from 10,000 years ago, and she was my good friend Lily. Ella took out a map with the location and time of the sinkhole marked on it. Open tomorrow. The sinkhole will open on this side. Ti and V go arrange reinforcement. If tell me to wait for them and you will arrive at the place. But I also secretly followed and didn't expect to be discovered by the Watcher. The rescue team arrived in time and everyone coordinated with all the hostages. But at this moment, Rollo suddenly felt a tightness in his chest, and at the same time, he was also starting to get sick in the sinkhole. They had to quickly take Isaiah to the tunnel. Back in the day, we didn't know there was a tunnel that could go straight to the top of the mountain, but at the end of the road there was only swamp. There was only a rope ladder to go to the top of the mountain. While everyone was discussing how to go up, Zoros took the momentum to jump straight, then up the ladder. Isaiah had also climbed up and out of the tunnel. They also saw the light tunnel, appeared to steal Isaiah away. But Isaiah broke away from his grandfather and returned to his side. Silas took the knife. Why raper If? And at this time Ti ran to If, leading Isaiah to the gate of light. Isaiah turned her head to look at If and then bravely entered. He got better immediately, but on the sinkhole Gavin also happened to see a sinkhole in. This was the last chance for them to rescue their loved ones. Without hesitation, they jumped into the sinks. When they woke up, they looked at him, saw a mammoth walking on the sandy beach. This is the end of the movie. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new movie. Bye bye.